I always say I'm not precious about what I put into market. Like the numbers are going to tell me whether my campaign was successful or not. It's not my precious baby. It is here to drive revenue. And if it's not doing that, then I'm not going to keep doing it.
Welcome to Connect to Market. I'm Casey Cheshire. Join the conversation with the marketing leaders driving the fastest growing B2B brands. We're sponsored by Ringmaster, building B2B podcasts and communities to reconnect you with your audience. And there we go. We are off to the races here. I'm excited. Things are happening. We're about to just learn some stuff, have a good time, hang out. And I can't wait to introduce my guest. She's super cool. And she is way smarter than she'll tell you. She is an absolute wizard. Who is she, Casey? Well, do you know what? B2B SaaS marketing leader, thought leader. She's in the CTM community. She's a GTM strategist. And when it comes to AI, cybersecurity, tech, she is a marketing wizard. That you heard it from me. That means it's real. And listen, if you look at her profile, if you look at the all the different listings on LinkedIn, there is turn pipeline to 109% of target. There is did this in 6 months. There is 3.5x pipeline growth, 10x ROI trajectory, all these accomplishments. I'm excited to learn from her today and have some of those accomplishments myself. VP of Marketing for Testkube, Melanie Brancaleone. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Casey. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm having so much fun today. I'm so glad to chat with you. For us, I don't know about everyone listening, but for us at least, it is a Friday. So I'm excited to ask you this first question. But in order to do that, I have to put on this giant blue foam finger to ask you, Melanie, what is the number one thing that marketers need to do in order to connect to the market?
I think the best way, the number one thing to do to connect with the market is get yourself out there, get out in person and talk to people at events. Event marketing saw a rough few years post-COVID. A lot of people thought it wasn't going to come back, and I can say it is definitely back, and it is the best way to hear what's going on out there and in your market.
What makes it the best way? That's a strong statement.
It is a strong statement, because you learn more person to person, right? How much can you find out about me from my LinkedIn profile versus you and I have chatted 2 or 3 times now? I mean, feel like you're like a buddy now. Like, you know a lot about me just from chatting with me, and you don't get that from somebody coming to your, get started forum or request a demo forum. You get that from talking to people. And really, when you're on site and asking the right questions and building that person-to-person connection, you just learn so much more about what's happening and what's relevant to them in the market, more than what they're gonna, tell you in a forum of, I don't know how to test my Kubernetes. They're not gonna walk up and say that to you in a booth, right? They're gonna tell you about what's really happening. They're gonna use descriptive language. They're gonna share more about what's happening in their company, what their buddy in another company has suggested they do. And it's just gonna give you that better feel for what's going on around you and in your industry.
Got it. Got it. Well, what are we all just locked in the COVID era? Why aren't we doing this as much as we should?
I mean, COVID did change the way people do this. I mean, if you think about it, I was an event planner when COVID hit, and I watched massive events, watched an entire 6 months worth of events come off within a week and a half, right? Like, just everything was canceled.
Yeah.
And there really was this nervousness about getting back out there. 2021, 2022, people were still a little bit shy, not really sure. It seemed like every time you went to an event, you were guaranteed to get COVID and be down for the count for another, 4 to 5 weeks. It wasn't until probably the last year and a half that I've seen these events start skyrocketing again in attendees. People aren't afraid to travel anymore. They're not afraid of getting sick, or they've come to terms with how to deal with it. And they're kind of back, like life has returned back to normal. And people are now willing to just have to go out and be there in person and have those conversations again.
Yeah, and I'm happy for it because I love those conversations.
Me too. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I don't like being locked behind a screen all day. I like to be out there and talking to people and having human interaction.
What's your strategy for going about doing that, right? Because I feel like intellectually it makes sense, be in the same spot as your customer, but are you, like, grabbing them at their booth where they're trying to get something else? Like, how are you connecting?
Yeah.
Where's the best place to do that?
So I always say this, I'm the bright, sparkly marketing person. So I'm on the trade show floor standing in the booth. If you make the mistake of looking at me while you're walking by, you best believe I'm running out in the aisle and asking you, "Hey, how are you? What's going on today?" I don't take the approach of tell me about your tech stack and what your biggest problem is. I usually take the approach
Do
of,
people do
hey,
that?
yeah, they do.
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
they do. I go with the human approach. How's the show going for you? How's the conference going? What's been your favorite session? What's your aha moment or your, oh, wow, that's really cool moment? Who's got the best swag? Like, show me the swag. I always go in with, hey, I got 3 kids. Whose booth should I be hitting up for cool swag to bring home as a present? Get them warmed up and chit-chatting a little bit, and then you kinda ease in because then they're gonna feel guilty. So then they're gonna say, "Alright, well, this lady is talking really nicely to me.
Seems nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so tell me what Testkube is, tell me what they do." But then it opens that door to have this natural conversation and kind of bring them in instead of jumping right into the topic. So I go with that warm-up human approach.
Mhm.
I'm also marketing, which means I also get to get just enough information to say, "Wow, that's so cool. You are now talking about things I don't understand. So I'm gonna pass you off to this person over here who is way smarter than me and can dive real deep with you." And so I also like to act for my own team as the buffer. So I can tell the people who aren't really interested or who see a cool piece of swag in our booth, and that's really why they walked over here in the first place. Um, and then listen in. So once they're talking, I am a total creeper and I will stand on the peripherals and watch the demo and listen to the questions and hear how they're opening up about their technology and what's going on. So that I can get some ideas and can hear what they're saying.
Listening to the demo in the booth that someone else is giving and noting the questions they ask is, like, absolutely brilliant. Had
Yes.
never even thought of that. Like, don't walk away, go do something else or go eat your trade show cheeseburger, like, stay and listen because the magic is about to happen, and that vocab, all th those are your future campaigns, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would come up with so many campaigns and so many ideas just hearing natural words and hearing the way people talk about their problems. And particularly when they talk about them with a peer. So
Yeah.
they're going to talk about it one way with marketing, one way with an executive, another way when they're sitting there talking to the person who has a similar title or who has that deep technical understanding. They're going to use different words. It's even better when you can, grab a couple people at once from different companies and be like, "Oh, hey, so and so over here is just starting a demo. Why don't you jump in with them and listen in?" Because then you get to hear two different companies talking to each other. So people in similar roles talking to each other about like, "Oh, I'm running into this. Oh, here's how I've solved that problem." Or, "Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that too." And you hear this natural discourse going on and you hear what they're really saying to each other and can kind of glean out like, oh, this is actually a problem that's happening in the market. We can do something about this. We can talk to this. We can clarify this for people.
Man, that's fantastic. I can only imagine the magic of having multiple prospects all you made a little mini user group just now by
Yes.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
booth.
In the booth. And I mean, don't even get me to the mecca of you have one of your customers, and I have actually had this happen where a customer was walking by, not part of our trade show, like they were part of the trade show, but not there with us. Just a customer walking by,
Yeah.
paused, saw us talking to 2 prospects, walked over and goes, "No, no, 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 don't talk to them, come talk to me." And he walked off with them for half an hour, and then the 2 prospects came back and they were like, "All right, like, give us your sales team lead name." Like, that was the best conversation we've had. So we've had customers even coming in and selling for us and not even by like our design. Just was walking by, stopped and was like, "No, no, I'll answer your questions for you because I know exactly the pain you're feeling and I know how to answer that even better than they do."
Right. And now you've got social proof. You got all the magic happening.
You get social proof, you've got
Yeah.
all of it going, you've got multiple people talking to each other. It's like the human engagement part, it just lights up the brain. It gets people going and excited.
Is that would you say, is that the 80/20? Is that the central place? All the magic happens on the trade show floor? Do you have other do you, like, make meetings outside? What
Yeah, so also there's to me, there's 2 reasons why you go to an event. There's
Mhm.
driving the net new leads, so you wanna get in front of new prospects, and then there is helping along the opportunities you already have in place, and that's where I like to reserve my meeting rooms is that, I'm gonna, leave testing and jump into cybersecurity for an example here, but, I'm sure everyone knows RSA and Black Hat, 2 biggest cybersecurity conferences. I think Black Hat last year was like 100,000 people,
Holy
right?
moly.
Yeah, I think RSA is like 70 or 80,000 people. So there's a good chance your prospect or your existing opportunity is going to be there. That's where I like to use the meeting room is to then draw in the opportunities you have in flight to meet with the bigwigs of the company. Put them in front of the CEO, the president, the CTO, and razzle dazzle them. Have a solid meeting with them, show them the good stuff of the company, show them what's coming along, help them feel special, and then help move those opportunities along.
That's smart, right? You're not like,
Yeah.
don't waste that space on someone who's kicking tires, waste it on someone who's
Who's
maybe halfway down the process.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of meetings close out of after meeting a founder.
Mm,
Like spending that time with a founder often very helps close because founders are really great at telling the why, right? They started this company for a reason and they're really great and very passionate, very typically about their why. What's the why behind their story? And that founder story very often helps sell people on working with you.
ah, the that's smart, right? So, like, leverage the resources you have there too,
Mhm.
and getting them in front of the founder to do their impassioned speech about why this is so important and why they're
Yes.
doing it, is yeah, it's, like, priceless. How do you duplicate that on a form or to your point on, like, a landing page or yeah, YouTube video maybe gets them intrigued, but one-on-one with someone, you feel that passion.
Yeah, one-on-one and, a video can't answer questions, right?
True.
It can't it's all about that human connection, be able to have the conversation back and forth and answer the questions and even, just share things about your own story that then the CEO or the founder can react to and pull back into how they're answering your questions or how they're talking to you.
Mm.
That level of human interaction that as good as the internet is and as good as AI is getting to be, it still can't really duplicate a person to person interaction.
Right. And you know what? The founders need that too. They need to be
Yeah,
fed those questions and the interactions with people so that they keep the course of the ship in the right direction.
exactly. Exactly.
Wow, man. So like I feel like this is it's coming clear. Any other spots to think about? We've got the trade show floor, we've got the meeting rooms, meeting studios, parties?
Sometimes
Mm,
I do parties.
yeah.
Parties and dinners I am reservist about. It depends on the show to me. So, again, just taking into consideration someplace like RSA Black Hat where everybody's throwing a party, I do not throw parties, right? I feel like I'm about to give away a trade secret that is my trade secret, and I don't know that I want everyone knowing this, but I'll give it away anyways. Anytime I have an event in Vegas, I do a breakfast because it is impossible to find breakfast in Vegas. Vegas lives under the assumption that no one's going to wake up and want to eat before noon, which means that there's like, unless you want to go stand with everyone else in your hotel lobby at Starbucks for a cup of coffee and strappy breakfast sandwich, there is no place to get breakfast, so I always do breakfast meetings and do a catered breakfast, and that is usually a very big success because everyone wants breakfast.
So smart. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and to your point, looking at what everyone's doing, don't become another me too there. go and do
Right.
something different.
We're going to do something different because
Yeah.
there, when you look at these big events, everybody has something going on and every vendor is inviting the same prospect to everything. So unless you are a really big name, unless you're Microsoft, who bought out their restaurant that's directly out of, right when you walk out of Mandalay Bay's e- ballroom conference center, you're
Right.
not going to get one. You're not going to get them to come down the strip. You're not going to get them to this thing, but offer them breakfast. They're totally going to want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So you think about all major conferences like that and look for the interesting spots where you can do something around it. So
Mhm.
if you're in San Francisco, you find something cool that's more a San Francisco thing to go do, and try and find it around when the conference is doing something. Like I never compete with a conference party. If the conference is throwing a free party, I can guarantee no one's coming to my party because they have way better budget than I do.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive. Like, why compete with them? That sounds like terrible. Or like if it's like Dreamforce or something and like U2 is
Yeah.
playing, you know, m maybe YouTube. U2 is not necessarily a good example, but like, the latest artist is playing that everyone wants to go see. Probably not the night to spend half your event budget on a party that everyone's gonna be late for, not come.
Didn't Dreamforce yeah, I think they did, didn't they do, like, Metallica or something last one?
They always do stuff like that, yeah.
Yes, and I was actually shocked by that because I was like, "Who? What? That's so interesting. I don't know that that would be my band of choice." And then we had some people there, and they're like, "Oh my god, it was amazing. Everybody showed up." Like, I stayed an extra day literally to go to the concert that night, and I was like, "Okay, I stand corrected. This is why you don't do things against the conference
And
party."
right, and like, I think it's Benioff or th he has, like, 12 band friends or something like, like or 4,
Yeah.
and they kinda just keep circulating through. "Let's get Bono on there, let's get
Yeah.
Metallica," and then, they sort of circulate, but you're right, even still, people are gonna be like, "Well, let's just go," you know?
It's a free concert, like, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
so
good, right?
yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
or do I wanna go to this lounge somewhere and also have
and
open bar with no U2 or no
we know you
yeah.
do and a steak dinner. I can get a steak dinner anywhere,
Yeah, true
right?
enough, true
You want
enough. So, okay, sweet. Um, and then so you were saying sometimes on parties and dinners. Yeah,
dinners
speaking of steak dinners,
steak dinners, sometimes on the dinner, usually at a smaller event, or if a lot of times if I'm flying someone of importance, like for example, we have an event we're going to in New York City, and the day of the conference, there's a party that night. So we're not doing anything. But the CTO of our company is flying over for 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 the event, so they're arriving on the day before. So we're going to do a dinner the night before, and we're not going to target people going to the event. It's New York City. So we're looking at prospects and customers within New York City who want to come out to dinner. So I'll try and expand what I'm doing and look for who's in region and try and attach it on the front end or the back end where it makes sense, where you have someone who's of interest from the company that's going to be in the city and might as well take advantage of it.
got it. I hear that's a good play for Black Hat too, that a lot of magic happens
Yeah.
before the show.
Yeah, so Black Hat has a CISO day that they do on the Monday. So while everybody else is coming in and setting up and the actual conference kicks off on Tuesday, they do a CISO specific day on Monday. So it's a great day to try and get hold of people. Usually Friday, terrible day. Everybody's trying to get the heck out of Vegas and back to where they want to be.
Yeah. What do people get wrong the most? I think we've had some great best practices.
Yep.
What's the biggest
And
mistake you make?
couple big mistakes I usually see. First one is trying to have a party at a big event.
Fair.
And I have, to be fair, I have made this mistake as well. You think like, hey, I'm going to partner up with 3 or 4 other companies. It'll be great. And I have done that. And I have looked around to that party and been like, oh, it's all just reps from each one of our companies. Like, this is embarrassingly bad. And we will just never mention that
Yeah.
again, except for this time right now.
Right.
Um,
Right.
So that's one mistake. I think your booth is a really big place where people make mistakes. I think it's really easy to go either overboard, so try and be so cool and so different that nobody can actually figure out who you are or what you are. I've seen that happen
Definitely
a
seen that in
lot.
RSA for sure.
Yeah. You see that a lot in cybersecurity because it's
Yeah.
such a crowded space that people try and be over the top.
Yeah.
Um, it's getting to the point of ridiculousness for some of it now.
You know,
I'm
don't you encounter like at so RSA, right? There's like a whole wrestling setup. There was like a boxing ring, wrestling setup.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who did that.
Yeah, no, I don't know who did that one. I
Yeah.
know somebody else who was doing real tattoos, had a tattoo bus driving around.
Okay.
I had a friend who was joking at a cybersecurity startup. He was joking that he was going to bring in lions and elephants, and I was like, "Okay, I actually can't tell if you're joking though, because people will do that. So, are you being sarcastic or are you not?" And he was like, "That's a solid point. I'm being sarcastic." But yes, I wouldn't be shocked if someone had a zoo on the trade show floor at some point.
You know, but it's like one of those things where you watch a commercial and you're like, that was cool or that was terrible, but yet you'd like no recollection of who it was, you know? It's
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
to your point, the cool thing just took over and then we missed the sight of the point was that everyone would know about your
Right,
brand.
right. The whole point was that you wanna get relevant prospects, and I think that's the thing is that when you do these really super cool things, you end up getting such a big pool of people over to you that you lose sight of who was really your buyer, who's really the one that you need to be talking to. Because even in cybersecurity, where you're like, oh, my profile is CISO. Well, there's very typically with cybersecurity products, a very specific tech stack underneath that you need to work with. And if you're just trying to get everybody in, that's great for your numbers, but that's crap for your conversion. And at the end of the day, to me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. I would rather have 100 really good qualified booth leads come out of this, booth scans come out of this, than 1,000 crappy ones because I can't really action 1,000 crappy ones. I can action 100 good ones though.
Mm.
Hey, marketing leaders, it's Amanda here from Ringmaster B2B Podcasting. In today's market, B2B buying is built on one thing: trust. And there's no better way to build that trust than through a podcast that builds connection. At Ringmaster, we help you launch and grow shows that will amplify your brand and can help drive real demand. The best part? We handle all the heavy lifting so you can focus on the big picture. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast for your brand or taking your existing one to the next level, visit ringmaster.com to chat and book a call.
And I guess that brings up another question. And then I want to talk about the action that comes after that
Yeah.
is the giveaways. You mentioned earlier, you know, walking around, hey, I've got some kids what kind of booth should I visit? What are the good and bad on the gift side?
Yes. Oh, that's such a loaded question because in reality, it's such a broad range of good and bad and
Yeah.
what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. You can take the approach of it's a crowded space. I want the cool giveaway that everybody comes over to my booth for. I've seen things like, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago at RSA, someone was giving away lightsabers, like not the collapsible ones.
Yeah, this year too.
Well, that sounds like such a great idea until I was talking to someone and they were like, it doesn't fit in my suitcase.
Same.
I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, I had to leave them. It was like, oh, really cool. And then I'm like, what am I going to put them in my day pack and just carry them to the airport? Like, no,
Right.
I'm not doing
Right.
this.
I can't do that. So you have to think about that. You have to think about, can people actually get it home?
Right.
But then, like, I think there's also the type of giveaway that it's useful almost in a way. And so I try and like weigh out which one we're going to do. Now, very shameless plug here, Testkube,
Yeah.
our
Look it
logo,
up.
our logo is a cube. And so we have Cubie and we give out plushy cubies, which is adorable and a huge hit. And I'm going to be honest, I'm, 6 weeks into my job now. I'm going to a trade show. I'm going to my first trade shows in 2 weeks. And I'm already like, all right, I got to make room in my backpack so I can bring home my cubies for my kids and my own
100%.
guests.
Yeah.
But those are really cute, and people tend to like if you have a cute logo like that you can make something kind of unique off of. That's really good. That's a cute one to do. Otherwise, like here, I have you can see this. I don't know. This came from
Nice.
whoever ST is. I've had it for roughly 15 years and I fidget with it all the time. I got it from a trade show.
That's
Back
awesome.
when I was at IBM in like 2017. So okay, so not 15 years, 10 years,
Man,
9 years. I can math.
yeah, I've sometimes seen them be almost too good. I mean, what do you think? Like sometimes I would kind of knock people for having such a good giveaway that like I just stroll over there, get scanned, thanks for the giveaway for my kids, and then leave.
Yes.
But they did get me a scan. But what if I wasn't the target? Like how do you?
Right. That's where you gotta like weigh out this. Is it the target? Is it not? So, I was at a company called Tessie in email security, and we did these building block hacker kits. So it was like as you built it like up, it had a desk, it had the dual monitors, it was cute, it was little, like this big.
Cool.
We gave those out for demo. We very quickly realized that people just wanted the kit and didn't want the demo. So then we started coming up with like a little thing that we would say to each other. So marketing would come and greet them, figure out if they were a real prospect. If they were a real prospect, we'd bring them over and say they want a demo. If they weren't a real prospect, if they just wanted the building block kit, we'd say, hey, they'd like a demo for the kit. And that was the indication to the demoer to give the quick 2-minute like pitch, and we would mark them down in our, as soon as they walked away, we'd pull up the scanner and mark down like here for swag only so that we knew and just dropped them into our marketing list and didn't waste our follow-up cycles on them.
That is so smart. That's so smart. Uh, but it's still good to have that thing, so it brings people in. It's good to see a buzz around the booth and all
Yeah.
that. So
I mean, it does when you have the buzz, it does make people stop and want to see what the buzz is all about. So it's like this double-edged sword of trying to stand out enough that you're getting people in, but not stand out so much that you're bringing in the wrong people. But also these conference floors are really overwhelming and it's hard to find exactly who you want to talk to. And sometimes you can't tell from the name of a company. Testkube is pretty obvious what we do, but sometimes you can't tell from the name of the company or if you're at a more generalized show, if it's even someone you'd want to talk to. So you're like walking in marketing, you're walking this very tricky line of like, I want to stand out, but I don't want to stand out too much. But I want to drive people in, but I don't want to drive the wrong people in. And you just kind of waver back and forth on this line of figuring it out and figuring out what works. And it's a lot of trial and error to get there and get it right.
yeah, that makes total sense.
Yep.
And adjust. I mean, that's what we do in marketing is you do something, take some action, and then adjust
Yeah.
to it, see how it worked out, and go from there.
Test and improve. That's what I always say. Like you
Yeah.
have to start somewhere. So start somewhere, see how it worked, and then make it better. However better is, whatever better looks like.
Man, I feel like this is such a master class for events and I wasn't even thinking that this might happen, but I'm so glad it has. One
Yeah.
final question on you because I feel like I've been interrogating you about this, but it's exciting. You mentioned the actions, the follow-ups afterward. I know some were tagged now
Yes.
for don't follow up or they're just here for the swag, but for the ones
Yep.
that are good targets, what's the best follow-up? What do you like to see and do?
Yeah. So my best follow-up or my best practices for my team, first of all, within 2 to 3 days, you send a thank you for stopping by to everybody, right? Regardless of whether they wanted the swag or they really wanted a meeting with you. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good call to action in that email. At our company, we set up meeting pages. So we have them live at the event where if you like us, you can scan a QR code, you can set up a meeting right then with us. But I also put that link in to the follow-up email as well, because the meeting page also calls out, if we had speaking sessions, if we did do a dinner or did something else, it's all on there. So it helps them remember, oh, yes, I remember this account. I remember this company, I should say. And then the other piece of it is BDRs. So giving the list of MQLs and qualified people. So anyone who has a note in the system to follow up with them because they took a demo or they were really interested, they asked good questions, follow up with them immediately. Anybody who MQLs, I think it's always really important to consider that long tail tracking of I have, at a company who's been around for 3 or 4 years and has gone to the same industry event every year, can see that, hey, this person has stopped by my booth for the last 3 years in a row. Like, MQL them, bring them up, call them, see what's going on, why they keep coming by, what's driving that interest.
Mm,
So making the phone calls and having those BDR sequences, where they're sending emails and placing phone calls and slipping into LinkedIn and everything like that to get in touch with people.
man, so powerful. If this is where your customers are going to learn, where are you going to learn? Are you when you're not talking to customers? Are you podcasts? Are you reading books? What are you listening or reading these days?
Yeah, I am reading books. I'm a big reader. I'm not much of a podcaster or much of a listener because I'm a reader. Like, even people are like, oh, what's your favorite TV show? And I'm like, I just don't watch TV. I read, which is super nerdy of me, but I read. I'm currently, because my company has a PLG motion, I'm currently reading a book on PLG and how to set up the best way to push that through and make that a successful part of your marketing cycle. I often take recommendations from people. So as we're having conversations and I'm hearing from other readers, and I like to read on everything from marketing, management, sales processes, and sales books. So I try and cover the breadth to just understand what's going on in my adjacent world.
So smart. Yeah. Yeah. Do you recommend that PLG book?
Yeah, so far it's pretty good. It's by sorry, it's by Wes Bush. I should give him a proper shout
Give
out
him a
because
shout out.
give a proper shout out to Wes Bush because he has a whole product led library.
Oh, cool.
So he has books about like setting it up from scratch all the way through to marketing it after it's been set up to improving it once you've had it up and running for a while. It's been a really great deep dive into the world of PLG.
So cool. Well, my
Yeah.
next question really is like, who are you? How do you know these things? Can you like take me back in time, like little Melanie days? Did you know you're going to be a marketing leader and like absolute the sparkle person at the trade show? And what was it like?
Yeah. So, yes, I have known since high school I was going to be in marketing. The irony of all of that, I actually really wanted to be a doctor, and I am dyslexic. And back 25, 30 years ago, let's not talk about how many years ago now at this point,
Just couple, like,
just a few.
yeah.
There is not the supports in place now for dyslexic people and,
Mm,
hearing text and all of those things. And I looked at those Latin words and was like, yeah, that's not happening. So my senior year of high school, my high school happened to offer an accounting class and a marketing class. And I took both of them. I discovered I did not enjoy accounting at all, like at all. And I took a marketing class, and my dad, who was an engineer at the time for, some big name companies, was like, hey, you're actually pretty good at this. Like,
mm.
you should maybe go to college for this. And at 18 years old, I was like, sure, I should go to college for this. So I did what any person would do. And I went to Bentley University, which only offers business degrees. So I got my undergrad in marketing from Bentley. I decided that wasn't enough. So I went out and got a full-time job and then went back to Bentley and got my Master's of Science in Marketing Analytics and my MBA in Marketing and Management of Technology while working full-time.
Dang.
That was the time. That was an interesting time.
It's a busy time is what that is. Dang.
It was a very busy time, but it really set me up. It first of all solidified marketing was where I was going to be for life.
Sure.
Um, and really helped me get that understanding of not just running programs and campaigns, but understanding how to read the results, which to me, the most important part of marketing is not that you did the thing, but that you know how to measure, track, and improve the thing.
Wow.
And I always say I'm not precious about what I put into market. Like, the numbers are going to tell me whether my campaign was successful or not. It's not my precious baby. It is here to drive revenue. And if it's not doing that, then I'm not going to keep doing it. So I kind of take a very hard line on that, but also I'm grounded in numbers, so it doesn't feel as sensitive.
Man, I feel like that's like a mic drop moment. And I know I'm going like, wow, like in the background. And the producer's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, stop talking," because that is a brilliant sound clip. Like, "Oh my gosh," like, "Hey, great, you did the action. Who cares?" It's actually the fact that you can track it, you know if it worked, so you can do more of it or not do it. Like that's the important
Exactly.
part. Yeah.
And I think to me, it's so important that companies take on and leadership teams, particularly, take on this testing and it's okay to fail mentality. Because not everything you do is going to be a success. I can tell you about programs I ran that flopped terribly.
Mm,
But leadership and I were both okay with the risk. We were okay with it flopping. It flopped. We said, "Okay, great. Now we either know that that wasn't the right audience, or maybe we do wanna try it again, but we wanna change our messaging or change our tactics up." We can make the decision, when the time comes. And that was like a moment in time campaign. But I think if you're always afraid to fail, you're never gonna try anything new and you're never gonna expand. So I also always encourage my teams to just get out there and try, have a hypothesis and see, and don't feel bad if it fails. Like it's okay. You're still learning something and growing, and that's kind of what we do in marketing. That's what we need to be.
I feel like it's actually worse if you aren't testing anything?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It's worse if you're not testing. If you're resting on your laurels, you're never really gonna grow.
You're not learning anything at that point, and
Yeah.
you have no data. You can't. You're dead. Now you're just
Yeah.
floating in water and you're getting
Yeah.
recycled, as marketing can do if we don't prove our ROI. So,
Right.
man,
And it is marketing can get stuck in this trap of always having to prove ROI, which means then it's afraid to take risks, which is
right.
where leadership comes in. And leadership needs to come in and say, it's okay to try and fail as long as we're moving I guess we're moving this way. I don't know, am I backwards this way? Up and to the right.
Up and to the right. Yeah, that's
Up
a
and to the
mirrored
right.
screen. Like, I don't even know which way I'm pointing.
Yes.
Wow, yeah, that makes total sense. Well, bit of a hypothetical question for you next, if you're ready for this.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
All right, let's do this. I
Yeah.
may or may not have a time machine over here in New Hampshire.
Oh, I'm coming up to
All
you.
right, come on over, customer event, whatever. Come on up,
There we go.
lobster beer, let's make it happen. Now it's in the
Yeah.
backyard, covered in a tarp. Just don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Um,
Got it.
but we use the time machine and we go back in time and we get to meet you 4 days after graduating from Bentley. You get that undergrad. I know you got all the other things going on too, but
Yep.
you just got that undergrad. You get to go meet that version of you. What do you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to have confidence in what I can do and what I know. I spent a lot of my early career being afraid to speak up, being afraid to speak up in meetings, being afraid to rock the boat, being afraid to try things, being afraid to look at something and say, I don't think that's quite right. And I would say it probably took me until my mid-30s before I finally started finding that confidence to
Yeah.
to to have a thought and stick by that thought and stand up in front of a group of people and share it. And that it was rooted in a lot of different things from, just not having confidence in myself, the fact that I am dyslexic. I always share this openly, like I am dyslexic, and
Wow.
part of what happens is I can stumble over words or I can lose my train of thought, and I would be terrified to stand up in front of a group of people, particularly executives, and not look smart. And now I have gotten to the point where I had a very good manager once tell me that his whole goal was to fill the room with people smarter than him, and that was the sign of a good manager, and I take that mentality as well,
Yeah.
and I try and find everyone who I work with and for and who works for me, I want people smarter than me, and I am not afraid to ask what I think is the stupid question, because that has been another big learning, is that very often if you have that question, somebody else either also has it or that means that something hasn't been thought through properly, which is why the question exists, and it's not really a dumb one.
Yeah, that's so wise. And I'm a frequent practitioner of dumb questions. I just and it's almost like I think maybe was it Rogan? Someone said this one time where they're just like I'm a caveman, and it's like But actually having that mentality, being like, no, look, I'm not professing to be anyone's expert here. I'm just trying to learn like everyone else. And then
Yeah.
that frees you up to ask the thing that, to your point, everyone's probably thinking about.
Everyone's yes. There's that, there's that scene from The Office where Steve Carell's character is like, explain it to me like I'm 5. I
Mm.
I think that's probably one of my 2 most used Slack gifts is explain it to me like I'm 5. I say that all the time to people on my team, explain it to me like I'm 5. Because as soon as you dumb it down, I think you can see either where the error is or you can understand. And it's always a challenge to take a technical thing and try and explain it to somebody like they have no context whatsoever.
Mm. Yeah, I could definitely see that being the case. Follow up though, do you think you would listen to yourself if you came back from the future?
Well, I mean, I was 22 and I knew everything. Of course not.
Get out of here, lady.
You couldn't tell me everything. I just graduated from Bentley, man. I had a swagger,
Oh,
like, so hard.
You're like, no, 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 I got a degree, which means I already know everything now. So
I already know everything. I've already taken these classes that in a textbook has told me how the thing works. And oh, how quickly I found out that the textbooks touch almost none of what really happens in the business world.
isn't that weird? It's so weird.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's a secret dream of mine to someday become a college professor and actually teach real world marketing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what they taught us, the 4 Ps, great. The last time I had to talk about the 4 Ps was literally on a test when I graduated from college.
Yeah.
I want to go back now and teach what you really need to be successful in marketing 101 class.
You know, it's funny. I was just talking about that. I think that would be fun. I think you'd actually be a great professor because I feel like you've explained it to me. I haven't had to ask you to explain it to me like a 5-year-old yet. And I feel like you would be a great professor. And I don't know if I would or not, but I do know that I would love to wear one of those blazers with the elbows, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Total elbow patches. I can see you rocking the elbow patches
Yeah.
too.
You know what? I would
Yeah.
also smoke a pipe in class and they'd be like, professor, it's a
Also,
non-smoking campus. I'd be like, shh, don't tell anyone.
Also, make sure you have your cell phone in like a clip on your belt just to round out the
Oh
full
no,
look.
I can't do that. I've got boundaries. I can't I, I can't have the cell phone holder on my belt. Oh my
Oh, come
gosh.
on.
Really? I should have that?
You
Like
should.
like a
Just own it. On the
no,
professor look.
I can't do it. You know what? I'll have like a Palm Pilot or like a Trio or a BlackBerry. There you go. I'll have
Real
a BlackBerry. It won't even
BlackBerry.
work. I'll just have it on my
Just
belt.
put it on there. Doesn't need to work.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just pull it
I
out
agree.
randomly and look at it, flip through it a little bit, and then put it back down. Clip it back in again. You can just pretend. No one needs to know.
Oh my gosh, and if a student asks me a question, I could do that too. Like, "Professor
Yeah.
blah, 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 when is blah, blah, blah?" Use my little
Mhm.
BlackBerry.
Let me just look. Yep.
Tomorrow at 2 PM.
Yes. Future. We've got our future ready.
We've got it all mapped out, man. This is
Yeah.
awesome. Hey, how do you want people to connect to you if they wanna reach out and they, like, heard you drop this awesome knowledge, or maybe they're in the CTM community too, and they're like, "Hey," they wanna reach out?
Yeah. LinkedIn is probably the best.
Okay.
I'm on there all the time. I would say personal email, but I'm going to be honest, I get like 250 spam emails a day. So you don't want to fall into that mess.
No, you don't. Yeah, LinkedIn's great for doing reach outs
It
like
is.
this. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, like, man, this has been so cool. Melanie, thank you so much for coming on here. I feel again, I
Yeah.
was saying like it's a master class. It's like, first of all, you and I hanging out is just fun anyways, but like,
It's been so fun
yeah,
hanging out with you and getting to know you. I've loved just this process. It's been so much fun.
yeah, agree. And like for those listening, if you learned something, and I freaking know you did, because I got 2 pages of notes over here, front and back, then share this with someone else. Like, who needs to hear this? Next time you see someone totally butcher their event plan, or they're throwing a dinner and no one shows up because Metallica's playing down the street, then give them a link to this episode and be like, you need this. You need to listen to Melanie. She's gonna set you straight.
There we go. I
Man,
love it.
man. And with that, Melanie, thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you know what? I feel like this has been another very exciting episode of the Connect to Market Pod. We will see you all next time. And that wraps up another episode. Thank you for joining. For show notes and other episodes, visit us at connect2market.com. Connect to Market is sponsored by Ringmaster, creating podcasts and communities that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth.